2021, the world will be dealing with unhappy legacies from 2020, a devastating pandemic, an economic crisis unmatched since World War II, Donald Trump's deeply divisive presidency, and new wars that test the idea that crises have no military solutions.
Ukraine showing its own military force and posting video of rehearsals to repel tank and troop attacks, instill confidence at home and to send a message to Moscow as thousands of Russian troops massed on Ukraine's eastern frontier.
Ukraine said it would not step down due to Russia's pressure amid growing hostility between the two countries.
Sign of invasion, a flexing of muscles, or a test of resolve for Kiev and its allies.
In Russia and Ukraine may be imminent as a ceasefire is at risk of expiring tomorrow. 2021. To ask about the troop movements. Also spoke with Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Ruslan Homchik about the developing situation. The Kremlin denies it. The evidence is clear that a substantial portion of these forces is simply regular Russian military units deployed on Ukrainian soil. Not clear exactly how much additional Russian military hardware is actually heading towards the border with Ukraine, but there are reports that the deliveries are substantial enough to have disrupted the movement of other goods. Both sides routinely accuse each other of violating the current ceasefire. Regardless, with Ukrainian officials saying 26 of its soldiers have died in fighting this year already. The rationale behind the step down was due to concerns about escalating tensions. There are now approximately 100,000 Russian troops massed on the border with Ukraine, for possible war or armed conflict in the border. Tamed politically and diplomatically, however, there should be no compromise in terms of standing for the interests of Ukraine. Separatists in the eastern part of the country has increased. Russia's military buildup on the border is just the latest in a string of aggressive postures. The Kremlin has threatened to breach the border, with senior Kremlin official Dmitry Kozak last week warning that Russia would be ready to defend citizens living in eastern Ukraine, and Ukraine's forces amid a Russian troop buildup on the borders. Russia and Ukraine have exchanged accusations over the clashes, but Peskov insisted that Moscow was not involved in the fighting. However, he said Moscow will not remain indifferent to the Russian Special Forces soldiers in Ukraine to monitor Russian activity have reported a significant spike in ceasefire violations. Their short-range ballistic missiles continue to amass along 3 of Ukraine's borders. Ukraine last week to establish the ground truth of Vladimir Putin's military buildup.
But Ukraine's defense minister raised the rhetoric further, accusing Russia of preparing to potentially store nuclear weapons in Crimea. In an attempt to calm tensions, President Biden has suggested he meet Vladimir Putin in a third country to talk. Russia responded by saying any meeting will depend on how the US behaves.